All right, Dosey Do, how we doing? I think you guys are doing a lot better than that. How y'all doing tonight? Well, my name is Payton Howie, and I am oh so honored to be kicking things off with the Chad Cook Band. They're one rowdy group of guys, and I love any time I get to play with them, so this is going to be really cool. So, my name is Payton Howie. I'm going to play y'all some of my favorite songs tonight, some songs I've written, a couple little surprises. Hopefully you guys can sing along with me. And gonna tell y'all some stories. This song here is called Break My Own Heart. And I'll be straight up with you guys. I'm really good at falling in love, but I'm also really good at falling out of it. And I know I got some of y'all here that feel the same way. So if you're really good at breaking your own heart, this one's for you. Alright, so another story for y'all. A couple almost said weeks, but it was about a month ago. I was out in Nashville. I got invited to do a photo shoot with the One Piece at a Time car. If we've got any Johnny Cash fans, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Alright, cool. I got the opportunity to go and do a photo shoot with the One Piece at a Time car. They invited me out there. I got to, meet the family that owns Johnny Cash's ranch out in Bon Aqua, Tennessee. While I was out there, I had the opportunity to meet Mark Cash, who is Johnny Cash's nephew. And so he's sitting there, he was jamming for a couple of folks that were rolling through, and he was like, hey, what's up, come up here and play. So I got to play False in Prison with Johnny Cash's nephew, and I was like, I've peed, that's it, I'm good, I can go home now. That was really cool to get to meet him. He has such a great story, but I got to share this next song with him, and this song is called Jail and Jesus, and it was inspired by something Johnny had said before he passed. He said, I've lived my life from jail to Jesus, and I thought that two-part, there's a lot of life that happens in between that two-part. So that's what this song is about, and I hope y'all dig it. We did a music video for this song, and got picked up by CMT, so if you want to check it out, it's still up on my YouTube channel. And without further ado, this one is called Jail and Jesus.
Welcome to the latest episode of Unfiltered Conversations. I'm your host, Ryan McNeil. I'm thrilled to be joined by local country music artist, Payton Howie. I had the pleasure of hearing her, only a couple days ago at the Dosey Do barn, and she put on a heck of a show. Connected with her via Instagram, and I'm thrilled to be able to talk with her. Payton, thanks for your time today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate your time.
First question for you. When and how did you fall in love with country music?
Man, music's something that's always been inside of me. So, ever since I was a kid, I was always like running around the house singing, and everyone's like, shut up, or playing different instruments. And I was teaching myself to play guitar when I was about 14. And in the town that I grew up in, there was a main road, main street with all like the jazz clubs and blues clubs and country bars and honky tonk stuff like that, and all these more seasoned musicians would be there and playing, and they toured all across the United States, been to the UK, and played with some of the biggest names in whatever genre, and there were so many of these more seasoned artists that took me under their wing and taught me what it really means to be an artist, and they nicknamed me Youngblood. And so from there I was like, I fell in love with country music because it was the storyteller genre. And but they taught me everything I needed to know about all the greats, from country music to, classic rock, all that stuff. But that's really where I think I fell in love with country music specifically.
If you're okay with it, who are some artists that you want to give a shout out to and a thank you to at this point of our talk?
Well, shout outs for artists, I would say, especially like some of the local ones in the Conroe, Houston area. Definitely my man Jeff Canada, like he's awesome. He's always super cool, super supportive ever since I've been in the scene. Obviously the Chad Cook Band, I got to open up for them at that show at Dosey Do. They're just amazing. There's so many other artists that I would say even some more big name artists that I've got to meet or open for that have just been super personable and sweet. I literally just like on Saturday I got to meet Kevin Fowler, and he was like super chill. He's like, hey man, I like your ring. And I was like, thank you. I got this little Longhorn ring, and we were talking about that. He's great. And Aaron Watson's total sweetheart. Those are some major names that I would say that as far as artists go have really impacted me.
Where are some fun places you've performed? Maybe outside of Texas, or when you're thinking about venues that you really enjoy performing at, what are some venues that really stick out for you?
Some like of the best venues I've gotten to play are, some really cool experiences would include, I got to play ACL live with Bree Bagwell. That was really cool. I got to do that. I would definitely say, even I've played the Anaheim House of Blues in Anaheim, California. That's really cool too. I've played there twice, two sold out shows I've got to do there, and like every time it's just been super cool because like do it more opera style. Getting to play with a really talented band, that's always fun. And even some like the more local venues to the Conroe area, like we're having my single release party at Pacific Yard House on Saturday. And that's obviously one of my favorite venues to play. Really cool local group that come in all the time, and every time it's like a total party.
Perfect. Now, before we get to the single, I believe you write most, if not all, of your material.
Yeah,
What can you tell me about the writing process for you and how that looks?
I would definitely say the writing process is a very like fluid thing. Like sometimes you have a song idea that you've been sitting on for years, and you're like, whatever, just kind of put it in the back of your notes, and then you bring it into a write, and it blossoms into something. Sometimes someone will say something, and you write that down, and you go home and you write it. Or sometimes it starts with a melody. For me, sometimes I'll have like this chord progression in my head, or a certain melody that I just can't, stop thinking about, but there's not necessarily any words to it. It's kind of whatever comes first for me personally. And I definitely think the way I've grown the most in songwriting is through co-writes. Getting to write with other people is like such a huge tool because obviously your brain can only do so much, right? So sometimes it's nice to have someone just fill in all those extra spots that you're missing.
I like that. And I'm curious, who are some people that you've recently sat down and written songs with?
I've gotten to sit down with some pretty cool people, like, from the Nashville area, even some people from like the local area, which is really cool because there's a lot of really cool songwriters in the area. Um, Man, I would think I would honestly think that there would be more writing going on in this area per se, but I think everyone out here is like always really busy playing shows. A lot of my writes lately have been over Zoom. One of my friends, Delaney, out in Nashville, I got to write a song with her. I've been posting it on my Instagram and tagging her in it too. So that's one of the most recent writes I've done. I've had a couple cool co-writes here at my place with some local artists too. Um, but I definitely think that's like one of the major things is co-writes. Like as a tool, as a songwriter to grow is definitely writing with other people.
So the song comes out, the official release is Saturday, you were mentioning. What's the name of the song, and what can you tell listeners and people watching on YouTube about this song?
Yeah, so I have a new song coming out on February 10th. So that Friday actually is when the song drops, and then we're having the release party on Saturday. The song's called "Crazy About Her," and basically the idea behind the song, I co-wrote this song with Jordan Lake, my producer out in Nashville, and the story behind the song is us girls can be so crazy sometimes. When you see your ex out with somebody new, you're at the club dancing or whatever, and he brings this new girl in, and you're like, no way. Like I think us girls like know that vibe when you see like your ex's new girl, you see the replacement, like, and you're stalking her Instagram, you're like, I cannot believe she's wearing that right now, like that vibe. So I think sometimes us girls get so crazy that we're not even so hung up on our ex, we're more like focused on the girl, like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe. So that's kind of where the idea behind "Crazy About Her" came into. It's kind of like, I'm crazy about her, she's crazy about him, you know. Throwing out some lyrics there, not to be a spoiler, but you know, when he looks into her eyes, she'll never be me, kind of thing. Like that's kind of the idea behind the song.
So I'm curious because as an independent entrepreneur, I have to market my stuff, I have to promote my stuff, I have to get in front of eyeballs and people listening. What does marketing and promoting a new single look like for you?
I think the most important thing when it comes to that is just getting people excited about the song. We know when it comes to releasing a new song or a new video, stuff like that. Um, I have tried to really make a point of coming up with different ways to promote the song, whether it's playing snippets of it live on Instagram or posting pictures because, you know, typically I'll do a theme shoot. You know, I'll do a single specific shoot, you know, for different songs and, you know, different outfits that kind of fit that vibe. And I'll, you know, share photos from that. I'll share some behind the scenes or share a few like lyric snippets and kind of get people excited about the song. Cause then I think by the time the song drops, people are like, all right, like I'm anticipating it. And that helps, you know, pushing like Spotify pre-saves and getting people ready to listen to it for the first time.
So I'm following you as an artist on Spotify, and you've mentioned Instagram a few times. What's the best way, or what are a few ways for people to check out your work and to follow you and your career?
Yeah, I have all the social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all that good stuff. I got, you know, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, and all my music's out on there too. And a really good like place to find all that is my website, paytonhowie.com, PaytonHowie. And there I list all my social media, all my show links and tour dates and merchandise, stuff like that. That's all up on my website.
Payton, thanks for your time today. I'm excited to hear your new single that drops on Friday, and best of luck with your tours and all your upcoming concerts.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.